Hi guys, I am coming to you today to talk to you about a reading, I don't know, I guess it's a read-a-thon, and it is Winter Respite, or Respite, depending on what region you're in. It was a 2-week period from January 16th to January 29th, which is today, and I'm going to go ahead and just let you know what it is that I read, and I am going to show you the physical books first, and then go into the others that I read. The first one is Woof Winter by Cecilia Ekbach. I'm not really sure if that's how you say her name. This was fabulous. 5 out of 5-star rating. Absolutely. It is about a family that moves from Finland to the Lapland in Sweden, and the oldest daughter finds a body in the woods. And this family goes through a very harsh winter, one of the worst winters, I guess, that they had seen in years in this area. And they have to also find out who the killer was, because obviously it was one of the settlers around there, and obviously back then there weren't that many, so it had to be out of a very small group. I thought this was fabulous, like I said, and I plan on getting her other book, because I think there's only 2 books that she's written. At least that's all I've seen, and I can't even remember what the other one is called. It is in the same setting of the Lapland, and I think that's how you say that. I don't know how else you would say it, unless you say Lapland. Maybe you say Lapland. Anyway, same setting, different time period. I think it might be in the 1800s. This was in the 1700s, the early 1700s. I highly recommend this. I know some people would think that it was very slow-paced. It's not. It's like a thriller, but it's a slow, steady, I don't know. I just don't know how to explain it. Anyway, I just loved it. I enjoyed it. I wasn't bored at all. I always wanted to know what was going on. I loved learning about the culture and their beliefs. That was probably what took me in the most. So, I read this, and then I read, oh, you know the very first one I read? Not that one. It was this one. It was Snowed In by Rachel Hawthorne, which is just one of these little tiny books that, lighthearted type, I don't know. They're never that great, but they're like an easy read. And I gave this 3 out of 5 stars. And this was a book about a mother and a daughter who moves to Michigan, I'm thinking. I can't even remember. I'm thinking it's Michigan. Onto an island in the middle of the lake that is just like snowy, like crazy snowy, to open up like a bed and breakfast. And the story is about the daughter meeting a guy, finding out he has a girlfriend, but she is very interested in him, and she's usually not interested in being a girlfriend to anyone. She just likes to date around. So it was okay. It was definitely 3 out of 5 stars. Easy read. Okay, the last physical book that I read was Through the Evil Days by Julia Spencer Fleming, and apparently this is number 8 in a series. It is part of the Claire Ferguson, Russ Van Alstyne novels, and like I said, it is number 8. And I don't personally think that you have to read the series to pick up a book and read it. I saw on Goodreads, most people were saying that you had to. I read this without a problem. They were discussing some things that I didn't quite understand, or, you know, they made references to it, but you didn't really have to know the whole story to enjoy it. I thought it was just fine. I gave this 4 out of 5 stars. What this is Claire is a reverend, and Russ is a police chief. And they are now married, and she is pregnant, and on a very cold, yucky night in January, a house is caught on fire, and there are 2 victims found in it, 2 bodies. They later find out that there is a little girl that was being fostered in that home who is missing. There's not a body, so therefore they know she is missing, and they have to find her because she has a I don't even know, a liver condition, because her liver had to, she had to have surgery on her liver because she was in a bad accident. So anyway, she has to have her medication within 7 or 8 days, I think, or she will die. So they have to find her and find her quick. Russ and Claire are supposed to be going on their honeymoon up into the mountains. And while they're there, somebody starts coming after them. It is a really bad ice storm, an ice storm of the century, they say, and they are stuck up in the mountains with someone coming after them. So it is definitely a thriller. It was really good. I truly enjoyed it, and like I said, it was 4 out of 5 stars. And now my Kindle just went down. Okay. Talking about my Kindle books now. So, I read The Swap, if I can get that to go away, by Nancy Boyarsky, and it's a Nicole Graves mystery. I received this from NetGalley, and I gave this a 2 out of 5 stars because I could not stand the main character, Nicole. I could not stand her. She made the stupidest decisions that anybody could ever make. I don't even know why. It was just through the whole book. And I was just getting frustrated with her. I didn't care for her. The story was okay, but it was like every cliche was being thrown at you through the whole book. Now, I know there are some people who would probably enjoy this. I, however, did not. But what it is Nicole and her husband do a house swap with a couple in London. And this is because her husband has business in London to do. She goes with him thinking that it's going to help their marriage. While she's there, some crazy things start happening. Somebody starts coming after her, trying to kill her, threatening her. It's craziness. Like, I really thought that this was going to be really good, which is the reason why I did ask for it, but however, it was not, in my opinion, good, because I couldn't stand Nicole. She really, truly ruined it for me. The next one I read was The Girl Before by J.P. Delaney, and this isn't the cover for it. This is what NetGalley gave to me. This, however, was an excellent book. This was a 5 out of 5 star rating for me, and this is the story of a house that is built by this man that is like high tech, like almost like a smart house, but in a way that it reads and monitors you and how you're doing and how your stress is, I guess, in a way. It's almost trying to make you a perfectionist rather than calm that down. That's what it's like. But anyway, this girl moves in, and she finds out later that the girl that had lived there previously had died in the house. And so now she is trying to find out what happened to this girl, because both of these girls that had moved in had gone through some tragedies themselves, and this was their way of dealing with it, moving into this house. And so it was really interesting to watch, because we got to see it from the first girl, the girl who ended up dying in the house. We got to see her story, as well as the girl who moved in after, and she was trying to find out what was going on, how this girl died, but we were also seeing what was going on in her life as well. I thought it was very, very interesting. Kind of knew what was going on. I mean, it wasn't hard to figure out, but yet it was enjoyable. So I highly recommend it, or highly recommend that one, because it was a thriller that was interesting to watch, because we got to see their lives as well as what was going on, like the thriller part of it. And is that it? No. There is another one. Let me see if I can get it up, because now this Kindle has gone down. For some reason, I cannot get my Kindle Fire to pull this up. I have no idea. There's not really a cover for this one. This one's from NetGalley. The J.P. Delaney one was from NetGalley too. I don't know if I said that. This is Mad or Bad: Crime and Insanity in Victorian Britain by David J. Vaughan. And this is all that came up on there. I gave this 2 out of 5 stars. And I didn't even finish it. And I still rated it, because I feel like I can rate it by what I read. I gave it 2 out of 5 stars because I didn't want to say 3 because I think that's like, it's okay or something, or I liked it. 2 out of 5 stars is supposed to be it's okay. It's okay because I feel like there are people out here, or out in the world, who would read this book and enjoy it or use it for the purposes that they need it for. When I was reading this, actually when I read the synopsis, I thought this was going to be an excellent book, one that I would truly enjoy. Because what it is it's taking cases from the 1800s where they were trying to figure out, is this person have a mental condition, or are they just a bad person who does bad things? And so what really got me was at the beginning of it, it gives you all these names of people and who they are and what they did. I'm not going to remember those names by the time I get to the stories. So to me it was awful and boring. I hated it, but I did it. Then there was that section with terminology. Okay, I get that. Some of it I knew, some of it I didn't, and I knew I would not remember any of this terminology. I would recognize it, but I wouldn't remember exactly what it was by the time I got to the stories and the cases, which was true. So I got past that point and it got into the cases, and the interesting parts were talking about what happened. It was dry, it was bland, but I enjoyed it. Then it would get into the actual court case, and that's where it was like, it just got so boring for me, I couldn't stand it. So I went through a few of the stories, and I thought, you know what, I'm not going to make myself be tortured for any longer. I'm just going to DNF this book because I'm not going to sit here and be bored. So I do think that this would be a very interesting resource. However, I don't know if it's going to give you everything that you need, if you really truly need it as a resource. But it just was so dry and so bland that it's just boring. I would much rather listen or read about what these people did than hear about the court cases, because I don't know, it just was awful. Like, I've read about court cases before, but this was awful. I don't know. But anyway, I read that. So now, what I am in the process of reading now, I haven't got finished, and I probably could have, but I didn't push myself. I am rereading The Raven Boys by Maggie Stiefvater. I read this a few years ago, and I decided I wanted to finish the series this year. I don't usually read series all in a row, but I decided I'm going to this year because I want to finish some series that I've started in, like, the past years. So I am rereading this because I felt like to read the second book, I really needed to reread this since it's been a few years. And I do remember it, and as I'm reading, it's jogging my memory. And let me tell you, it's as good as it was the first time. Because I believe I gave this a 5 out of 5 stars, and it's going to get a 5 out of 5 stars again. So I read that, or I'm reading that. I'm in the process of reading that. And I'm also in the process of reading Gilded Cage by Vic James. And this is another NetGalley that I got, and I am about halfway through, about 51% through this one, and it's very interesting because it is about like a magic system in London or Britain. I don't remember specifically where it's at now, but anyway, about a magic system. It's kind of in an alternate reality of our present time. Like, the United States is not the United States anymore. It's the Union States and the Confederate States. And what happens is people have to go through slave days. And what this means is families who are not like the rich and the ones who have the magic, the skill is what it's called. Those people who don't have that have to do slave days. And what this is it's 10 years of being a slave to the rich and those who have the magic skill. So it has been very interesting so far. I am enjoying it. And I do believe that there is going to be a series, or it could be a duology. I'm not really sure what it is, but I know there's supposed to be another book because I think this is labeled as #1. So anyway, that is what I read for the past 2 weeks, and I hope you guys had a successful 2 weeks as well. And come back and see what I'm reading later. And hopefully I will be able to do the next readathon and have as much success. So that's it, and I'll see you guys later.